Everyone desires to be wealthy, to make a lot of money, and to be ranked among the world's wealthiest individuals. Money does not make you rich in the long run, and a crown of gold will not heal the void in your heart, but people all over the globe will remember you if you are wealthy. Bernard Arnault and Elon Musk are today's richest people, both having billions of dollars in their pockets. Yes, it's enormous. So much so that we persuade ourselves that no one has ever attained such wealth. However, if we look back through time and try to account for inflation, we may discover that there have been even wealthier persons whose fortunes amounted for half of the world's GDP. 10. Henry Ford, 1863 to 1947, $199 billion. Henry Ford, the famed American industrialist and creator of the Ford Motor Company, dictated a vision that revolutionized the history of industrialization. He introduced the Ford T, one of the first automobiles with a gasoline engine, which went on to sell 16 million units. He introduced the world to the Fordism concept, which entails manufacturing big numbers at a low cost via an assembly line. He rose to become one of the world's wealthiest men, and we only see his legacy now because he donated his money to the Ford Foundation. His fortune is believed to be around $199 billion. 9. Muammar Gaddafi, 1942 to 2011, $200 billion. After being toppled and slain by rebels in 2011, the former Libyan colonel and dictator astonished the world. He regarded himself as king, displaying his wealth to the whole African continent while the Libyan people suffered. For the previous 41 years, he held exclusive control over Africa's greatest oil reserves, and his investments had helped his bank accounts grow like crazy. Gaddafi's personal fortune was reported to be approximately $200 billion at the time of his death, in various banks across the world, and in oil interests in the nation. The dictator's Airbus A340M cost roughly $100 million, while the 333-meter cruise ship Phoenicia was purchased in 2012 for $697 million by the Italian business Mediterranean Shipping Business. 8. William the Conqueror, 1027 to 1087, $229.5 billion. William the Conqueror reigned from 1028 to 1087, invading and conquering England, capturing territory and riches from Sussex to Yorkshire, and defeating Earl Harold Godwinson in the Battle of Hastings in 1066, when he became King William I. And it didn't stop there. The more nations he conquered, the more money he amassed, as he had done his entire life. When he died, he passed down to his children the equivalent of $229.5 billion. 7. Mir Osman Ali Khan, 1886 to 1967, $230 billion. Mir Osman Ali Khan reportedly had 50 Rolls-Royces and kept the diamond in his office as a paperweight. He is also referred to as the Nizam of Hyderabad. He was one of 7 Nizams who governed Hyderabad until it was overrun by neighboring India. He possessed a personal gold collection worth over $100 million and a jewelry collection worth over $400 million, including the famed Jacob diamond, which is now worth $95 million. He also had his own public currency, the Hyderabad rupee, and a great private fortune, and his photograph appeared on the cover of Time magazine in 1937. His net worth is reported to be about $230 billion, making him the wealthiest individual in Indian history. His Majesty was a kind king who was deeply concerned in advancing public education, science, and building. He mandated primary education for all residents. Furthermore, it was free for the needy, according to his rule. 6. Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov, 1868 to 1918, had a fortune of $300 billion. Nicholas II, the last emperor of Russia, King of Poland, and Grand Duke of Finland, is also known as Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov. He governed the Russian Empire from 1894 until 1917, when he and his family were deposed and killed by Bolshevik revolutionaries. Tsar Nicholas II's net wealth in 1916 was about $900 million, which, when adjusted for inflation, equated to $300 billion in 2012. At $300 billion, he is the 6th richest person in history. And since the Russian Orthodox Church canonized him, he has also become the richest saint in history. 5. John D. Rockefeller, 1839 to 1937, $341 billion. During the 20th century, John Davison Rockefeller, a famous billionaire and oil mogul, controlled 90% of the flow of black gold. He passed away in 1937 at the age of 97. The Standard Oil firm, the largest oil firm in the United States, was founded. During that period, he controlled 90% of the oil. The corporation was separated into 34 smaller companies. ExxonMobil, Chevron, and BP are still among them. John D. Rockefeller was also the first person to raise $1 billion. When converted, his fortune would be over $341 billion. Following World War I, he donated a large sum of money to charitable causes and invested $250 million in his own organization, the Rockefeller Foundation. 4. Andrew Carnegie, 1835 to 1919, $372 billion. Andrew Carnegie, a Scottish-American industrialist and philanthropist who died in 1919, made his wealth in the 19th century. Andrew Carnegie abandoned the oil industry to Rockefeller and established the Carnegie Steel Company. At the time, his fortune was reported to be $372 billion. He used his fortune to fund the construction of nearly 1,600 public libraries around the United States. In his opinion, it was critical to invest in information, and he contributed tens of millions of dollars to American education. Andrew spent the last few years of his life as a philanthropist, donating 90% of his money to charities, colleges, and other organizations before his death. 3. Akbar I, 1542 to 1605. Incalculable wealth. Akbar I, often known as Akbar the Great, was the third Mughal emperor of India, reigning from 1556 until 1605. His realm was about the size of modern-day India, and he accounted for 25% of global GDP. The Mansabdar system was utilized by the Mughals. That is, regions over which an officer is appointed in order to generate revenue from the land. The emperor may request warriors in exchange for this money, depending on the size of the province. These officers were not picked hereditarily, giving Akbar a lot of discretion. The empire, which reigned over 15 such provinces, was immensely advantageous to the emperor in terms of collecting taxes, which added to his wealth. 2. Augustus Caesar, 63 BC to 14 AD, $4.6 trillion. After the death of his father, Julius Caesar, Augustus ruled over the Roman Empire, including Egypt, from 27 BC to 14 AD. He was one of the most effective commanders in Rome's transition from a republic to an empire. He is credited with establishing the Pax Romana and seizing control of a kingdom that amounted for 25–30% of the world's GDP at the time. Furthermore, he may have amassed a personal fortune of roughly $4.6 trillion. 1. Mansa Musa, 1280 to 1337. Incalculable wealth. Mansa Musa, who ruled the Malian Empire from 1280 to 1337, is regarded as the richest man in history. Indeed, he understood how to seize Timbuktu and expand his power to Niger, and hence to the most significant trans-Saharan commerce routes. He reigned from 1280 to 1337 and is regarded as Timbuktu's monarch due to his effect on the city's economy and culture. He also controlled the Bambuk gold mines, which provide more than half of the globe today. Its region supplied half of the world's gold reserves. As a result, it is not surprising that his fortune cannot be represented in dollars, euros, or any other sum or currency. During his trip to Mecca, he brought 60,000 people, each carrying almost 2 kilograms of gold and dozens of camels, each weighing around 125 kilograms, to distribute the riches to the destitute and mosques along the road. The trip to Mecca is one of Islam's 5 pillars, and Mansa Musa opted to go on Hajj in 1324 to 1325. But this excursion was unlike any other. Musa actually paved his way to Mecca with gold, putting his empire on the map.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button. Subscribe and click the notification button if you want more daily updates on building wealth, personal finance, and achieving financial independence. And remember, the world is yours.